Hi, everybody. Welcome to my channel. If you are new to this channel, I'm Amanda and this is Rowan. Um, so, if you've read the description, this is a rough day. um, so, before I address comments, I'm just going to say that I had a theft happen and it really sucks. I'll address some comments. Web surfer guy, oh no, these are desperate times and people are doing desperate things. That sucks. I'm sorry. Yeah, it is. And I'm trying to keep that in mind. Alexis, hello. Yeah, I'm used to areas where it's safe like that. But here's the thing. I wasn't in any danger. Somebody stole my things. And so I wake up and I'm trying to go through how I'm going to talk about this. So I wake up in the morning and I slept in. I'd finished my film projects. I was feeling really good. They turned out awesome. And what I was planning on doing was getting up early and going and taking some photographs of the beach. So I had left my can't covered up, but I'd left my camera in and my lenses and microphone and hiking bag and anyway, in my vehicle and locked the doors, and it was in a locked parking garage, but somebody got in and there were no cameras and they stole everything that they felt had value. And when I say everything that they felt had value, they left Rowan's car seat alone, and I had a bunch of clothes for donation in there, and they left those alone too. Hi, Abhishek. So that was difficult. So I go this morning. I get in the vehicle, and I'm on my way to grab we have this buy nothing group, and a lady was giving away fabric paint, so I was like, okay, great. I was on my way to pick it up, and I'm looking, and it's gone, and I'm just in panic mode, absolute panic mode. And I'm like, okay, all right, not a big deal. So I go to get the fabric paint and it's gone. She had set it outside and it's gone. So I'm assuming that's stolen too. It wasn't, but I'll get to that in later. Um, so I get back and I'm searching through the vehicle for the lens, my microphone, realize the hiking bag and sleeping bag's gone too. And I was like, all right, it's it's a done deal. And you know this is something I want to talk about too. I am a brain injury survivor, and some of my brain injuries were to the frontal lobe. And so this is for me what would be a recipe for disaster. In other words, a situation that causes extreme anger. For me, that can turn into raging real quick. It did, but I'll get to that in a minute. Hi, Kenneth. Hi, Karen. So I get back and I'm going, I run to the office and I'm like, they took it all. They took it all my cameras. This is what I do for a living. It's part of my life and what I do for a living. I'm just upset beside myself. I'm furious. I'm crying and I'm apologizing for being so upset and angry because I'd asked them for cameras at entry and exit points. And I'm just all of these things. And as I'm going, I can feel like I'm losing it. I know what the signs are. I know how it feels when I need to get away from a situation and calm down. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So now my phone's gone. I knew I came in the office with my phone. My phone's gone. I didn't realize that when she'd asked me to check for my registration, because they're stealing registration as well out of people's vehicles, that I had set it on the seat. So I had left it there. I came back up and I'm screaming at this point. Not screaming as I'm screaming at someone, but just screaming as in this just have to get it out. I can't be around people like that. I can't at this point I've lost the ability and I to even control my head. I'm stuttering. I'm yelling, I'm freaking out. Um, and I know at this point, it, one thing about having brain injuries is when you undergo rehab, is you're taught to watch for symptoms, right? You're taught to watch for um, ways that you feel little, and it's same thing in mental illness. Especially bipolar, you're also, really, you have to really be introspective and understand and really get in the habit of having like an emergency plan in place. And so I immediately switched into, I'm just freaking out. Rowan's like trying to calm me down. Um, and so I just, for a second, my emergency plan kicked into place. I went downstairs, knocked on Gypsy's door, and just was like, I need help. I need help. I need help. And she got me upstairs and was able to get me. I had taken, she got me to take my rescue meds. And so I started calming down, was able to tell her what happened, told her, I need you to help me find my phone. I know it's somewhere down there. I probably left it in my vehicle, but I need you to come with me because I can't be around people. And Gypsy has dealt with this before. So with she's my emergency person. So she's dealt with these things before. And so so then we find my phone, and I call the police and file the report. And I was like, pretty sure I threw the box away, not sure where my serial numbers are. I just can't think straight. And, when I called the police department first, they were like, you can go online and fill out a report. And I'm like, listen, I can't right now. Like my brain's not even like I'm barely functioning to talk. So I called, and had them transfer me to the non-emergency so that I could talk to a person and explain to them that I needed to talk. I can't read at this point or make sense of a form. So I needed them to take the report. Um, so I was very upset. I'm still upset. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm still upset. But one thing that after I calmed and was able to really get my mind straight is that a there's so much worse that can happen. And now I'm not gonna fall for the whole because I really got upset because Lee's like, now, make sure you don't leave valuables in your car. I'm like, it's in a locked garage. And plus, it doesn't matter if I leave it on the dashboard, my door's unlocked. No one should touch my things ever, ever. That's not my fault that somebody decided to be a thief. And so, but and then again, I don't wish anything bad happens to this person. I hope they get the help they need, and I hope that they don't do this anymore. I did get a hold of everybody I could to try to, I was able to go in under my photos when I take pictures. It snapshots of camera information. It has the serial numbers on there. So if you ever have an expensive camera, and you can go into the photos you take and you can look at the info, and you can also get your lens serial number. So I was able to do that and report it. Um, so then, yeah, it was a rockin' day, but I also consider it a big win. It didn't take me down. Like I was able to calm down. I was able to, oh, and after everything, I calmed and I was okay, and I'm okay. I'm okay. Rowan's okay. I'm okay. Things can be replaced. Maybe not for a while, might take a lot, but in the end, things can be replaced. And so no one was physically harmed. So, I got to look at it like that. And I've got to make really sure that I'm not bitter about it, because the thing is I could make all sorts of assumptions about who the person was, what they were doing, how they, whatever. But in the end, I don't know who did it. I don't know. I know absolutely nothing about them. All I know from the evidence presented to me is that my vehicle was broken into and a bunch of stuff was stolen. They broke into the garage, then they broke into a bunch of vehicles. Mine was one of them and stole stuff. So I'm not, I had when I had posted, some people were like, "Oh, I bet you it was." Nope, nope, we're not going to play that game. We're not. I don't know who did it. There is no assumptions to be made. The only assumptions are based on evidence, and that is that a human being, and the reason I say human being is because animals don't have thumbs, nor do they steal cameras out of vehicles. So I know it was a human. um, let's see. So I'm gonna address some comments. I just kind of wanted to share that win. For somebody, I've had a lot of brain injuries, and I am so proud of myself today. I didn't end up in a hospital. I didn't. I put my emergency plan in place. Like I did good. I did good, and that's a situation that would have. Mm, it would have sent me right into manic rage. And I didn't. I was able to get to someone who knew, get to my meds, and really think about it on a human level. So I guess that's kind of the whole thing. Is I wanted to say I'm super proud of me. Web surfer guy, thank you so much. I appreciate that. In the grand scheme of things, it is a small bump. It is a small bump in the road. That's the thing. Is Although I do have to say that the officer did laugh a little bit when I told him, like, he's like, "What is the make and model of the car?" I'm like, "A '99 Nissan Pathfinder." He's like, "And what kind of camera?" I'm like, "Yes, I know my camera is worth more than my vehicle. I get it." Let's not judge. He's like, "No, it's fine." He was just giggling. And I was like, you gotta have a sense of humor. Okay, I'm gonna go up and address comments. Okay. See, Ajit, can you tell me why there are still some homeless people in Los Angeles, even though there are so many charitable institutions? Oh, that is a long conversation to have. Number one, it's mainly because we have to switch the thinking of charity, right? Because human rights isn't really charity, it's something that we need to survive. And so I think that part of that statement, right, like right there kind of gives the answer is because charitable organizations are not going to do it. That's not what ends homelessness. Housing ends homelessness. And for a lot of times, a lot of charitable organizations are there to help the people survive where they are, right? Because there's still supplies that are needed to keep those people alive while they are on the street. Like for here, especially like tents, water purifier, sleeping bags, clothing, food, those things require also a large amount of funds. So, which actually it would be much less if we just housed people, then we didn't have to do that. It would be awesome, but we don't. And so that's kind of the answer. That's kind of a short answer is because we still view human rights as charity, and it's not. And we a lot of times will leave it to you know organizations that have no business really doing those things. Um let's see. Hi, Noodle Gaming. Ricky, hello. Washington Warrington train spotter. Sorry you lost your camera. Yeah, me too. Ajit, it's because there aren't enough resources and too much bureaucratic nonsense. It really, there is. Well, the thing is, I would love to say there are resources. There are tons of resources, but people like Jeff Bezos aren't giving it up. Like they got resources upon resources all up in their stuff. But the thing is if they don't, if if they refuse to just help the problem at where it is, then and continue this, philanthropy game of, whose hand is the prettiest, or who do we know the best? These things are really complicated, and I could go into grants and funding and philanthropy all day long, but just just know that the resources that are being given, which are not all the resources that should be available, the resources that are being given are very, very little in comparison to other things. Liebe aus Deutschland. Germany. Hi, Hans. Mama mode. I did get serial numbers. Yep. Check pawn shops repeatedly. That's what people are telling me, is that I'm going to have to contact the pawn shops on my own. Warrington, what kind of camera did you have? Was it a Nikon or Canon? Canon 70D. Um, it was actually it was a present from one of my viewers, and I guess maybe I just get sentimental with my cameras, but it meant a lot. Like, for her to do that was just like a huge deal. I cried when I opened it. I bawled my eyes out. But I also think that having emotional attachments to things isn't necessarily a good thing. So I'm trying to really break that cycle of having like too much. Because like I was telling Gypsy today, she had an issue because somebody threw out like boots that were like 5 years old. It's just like, they were 5 years old. I'm like, I know, but we need to not form emotional attachments to our clothing and our things. We need to understand that needs to be saved for living beings, because it's easy to get into that. Um, Also, if you're on Facebook, look on buy sell trade. Okay, yep, I've been looking on the marketplace. Friend's daughter was sick in the hospital. Friend saw. Oh yeah, I've got tons of people looking. I posted it a bunch of places, and so everybody's been like trying to really help. Um, let's see. Good job using your skill set. Thank you. I I have come so far. Like, wow. I mean, it may sound silly to some, but it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Yes, I screamed. Yes, I melted down. But in the end, it was a very short amount of time, and I was able to do that. So it's like yes, it was a loss of all that stuff, but it was also a big win because I see where I'm healing, and that means a lot to me. Okay, sorry, my mascara is about to start going. Um, Charity definition is brotherly love. Perspective needs to be changed. Human rights being met as brotherly love. If one has what another needs, sharing is love. Yes, I agree. But the problem is, a lot of times, is I think that um, when we talk about charity, it's, in our society, I would hope that by this point we all realize that we're all interconnected, that our society is interconnected, the people in it, our environment, it's all interconnected. And so I would hope that people would find it to be the responsibility of the society in which you live, because you're impacted by it. Your everything is impacted by the society you live in. And that it's really, to have a good, healthy, functioning society is a responsibility of that society to make sure its citizens cannot fall past a certain point, because we do have enough resources for that. Let's see. What kind of camera was it? How much can cameras cost? Was it over $10,000? Well, no. Why do they cost so much? I mean, I guess, and see, that's the thing is, I mean, that's again, expensive is perspective. Like, I had a Canon 70D. It depends on where you get it. The price goes up, but around a grand with the lenses, and then their lenses or whatever. But the thing is yes, there are cameras that go for like, holy crap. But that was not one of these. And so that also throws it into a lot of perspective. Like, in the end, chill out. Gaia Bear, hello. Lori, the emotional attachment is to the beauty and memories you captured with the camera and not the camera itself. I agree with okay. I totally agree with that because it, yeah, it's an emotional thing. I'm even going through pictures, it's photography is emotion. Just like all artwork, I guess. Let's see. Warrington, do you have a Patreon? I do, but I do not use it because it became really I've only got like so much bandwidth, and so that just put me over my limit between like work and grandbabies and vlogging and photography and art and all the other things, the outreach and all those things. So, yeah. Kenneth, I have a disability. I have high functioning autism and extreme high anxiety. Okay, yep. Those are, they, yeah, definitely disabilities. What I try to remember though is that just because I'm disabled doesn't mean that it just means that I have to work harder to do some things. I have to change some things. I have to make adjustments to do something that somebody else wouldn't have to make the same adjustments for. But, isn't that life? Sometimes it's very frustrating because it can be really embarrassing. Um, there were times before that, you know, a pen wouldn't write and I couldn't handle it and would melt down and ended up in the emergency room, full on 3-year-old tantrum. Brain injuries can be really one of those things that any kind of brain thing, any kind of disability, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just something I struggled with. And everybody is valid in their experiences for sure. And let's see. Tina, hugs. I'm sorry this happened. So thank you. That's the thing. Bad things happen to everybody. Good, bad, neutral, whatever. Bad things happen. It's not about bad things happening. It's how we get through them. And so, and I understand that, I have some limitations, but in my point of view, I got through beautifully. And I did get a call from the apartment complex saying that they are putting cameras. It was approved by corporate. They really took heart to what I had to say, which I don't remember anything I really had to say because I was freaking out pretty hardcore. The only thing I remember saying is, and crying was, I should have moved. I should have moved. Maybe that had an impact. I don't know. But I also told her I was sorry. I know it's not their fault. Management, that's her job. She doesn't live here. It's, much higher. It's a corporate issue. And so I was, I'm like trying to tell her, please, I know I'm upset. I know I'm freaking out, but it's not you. I'm just like, I freak out hardcore. And she totally understood and was lovely. So, um, let's see. Sojourner, hello. Good to see us. Thank you. You take care of yourself too, Avery. It's okay to be sad. You are not alone. Thank you. Mama mode. Expense, like all adjectives, is relative. Exactly. Exactly. um, Mary Fun, lots of love from Houston, love from Seattle. Warrington. Do you have a PO box? I do not. I have not gotten a PO box. I will though. Especially now that I have a vehicle, I can go to the post office, and that's actually the reason I never got a PO box, was because I knew if packages were sent there that I would have a very hard time getting out and picking them up and bringing them home. It would have gotten to be an issue. So I never did set one up, but I can do that. And thank you for the offer. Know that you don't have to do that though, because I do have, like I told our Buy Nothing group, and several people have offered to let me borrow their camera at any time. So, and like long-term borrow for a while. So, I was really people are kind too, bad things happen, but there's really good people out there. Like, I just put out there that, this had happened and, you know, right away, like 2, 3 people were like, "Hey, you're in the area. I'm so sorry this happened to you." And people that know me and were just like, you know, because like my thing was that, I had like clothes for donation to the unhoused and they're like, "Well," and I said, "At least they left those." Like they could have gone through those bags and taken stuff, but in the end, I left it. Um, let's see. You're helping people more than you know. Thank you, Mark. Sending you hugs, strength, and love. Thank you. Um, John Doe, how do you stay sober? I get bored at night and use. Um, I I don't want to. It's not a desire of mine. Um, I do use marijuana, but that's not really a not sober type situation. It's for all sorts of things. I've got a list of disabilities, and I don't feel like I have to justify it at all. So I'm not going to. That was when I lived in a very stigma ridden and shame ridden state of being. Let's see, and I think that that's part of it. Is life is really fulfilling for me. I life may not be perfect, but it's pretty on point with what I view to be a very beautiful, fulfilling, perfect life. Um, doesn't mean bad things don't happen. It just means that in the end, I know I'm blessed. To have my family, to have my grandchildren. I mean, there is nothing in this world that can replace that. So I'm really a blessed woman. Let's see. We love you. Stay strong. Thank you, gamer. Bliss, how did they get in your car? It's an older car, and apparently they're pretty easy to unlock. I didn't know this. So, they just unlocked it. And I came down and, like, the door was, like, open like this. I'm like, "What?" I knew I locked it, and I didn't even think about it really. I was just like, "Huh." And I was like, "Oh." And then, ta-da, camera's gone. Tina, can I donate to your Venmo for a new camera, or is that just for your foundation? You can just put in there what it's for. That's all, just in the tagline. Um, let's see. Kenneth Ray, I'm from Texas. I live in the boonies. I came a long way with and thank you, Tina, for saying that. I should have said thank you first. um, Kenneth Ray, I'm from Texas. I live in the boonies. I came a long way with my disability, and God helped me got through it. Good, good. Kenneth Ray, I wish I lived in the boonies. You're better off. It's nuts out here. I have to say, I'm still glad I live where I am. Like I love Seattle, and and it's just something funny. Like, okay, crime is rising, property crime especially, and it's due to just the state of things right now, poverty wise, and I still feel safe. Like I know what my risk is, and I pay attention to my surroundings, and that's I want to be where the people are. Maybe not during a pandemic. I do like getting out of the city, but humans, we can be beautiful. And I think that maybe bad things kind of stick, but in the end, there's more beauty than there is bad. Um, let's see. John Doe, uh, and drug use. Um, Actually, that is an interesting thing that you said there, John, because my issue with alcohol was before I was unhoused. I did not have an issue while being unhoused. When I talk about rehab, when I was unhoused, I'm talking about brain injury rehabilitation. So I had to go see neurologists and speech pathologists, and literally, if you are that busy like I was into healing yourself, the last thing you're gonna do is try to undo that damage. Like, I put a lot of work into being okay. Um, did they break a window to get in your car? No, they did not. I honestly do not know how they got in. I know that the doors were locked, and I know that it is a very old car, and from what they told me, it's super easy to get into. So, Tina, I would have wigged. It's a violation. That's what I said to, yeah, I said that to my daughter-in-law. I said, I feel violated. Like, violated. I was upset. I was upset. Um, Yep, exactly. Just can't stay there. Exactly. And the thing is I think that, because I caught myself doing it. I did it. I was so upset and I was like, oh, I hate people. And I had to check myself because I don't. I don't hate people. But I did. I for a second there I was like, oh, I just hate people. And it's like, no, I don't. I just hate the things that we do sometimes. That's it. Kat. Hi, Kat. Nice to see you on here. Mama Amanda, you did beautifully. Thank you. Exactly. Neither me nor the babies were at the vehicle at the time. That it absolutely, absolutely. Bliss. Fingerprints? They don't do that. It was a 10-minute phone call to file a report with the police. What's going to happen is they'll take a report, and if they come upon any stolen property that is reported, they have the serial numbers, and I will get it back. They don't actively look for property. That's not a thing. And they definitely are not going to come fingerprint. That's like in murders or assaults. um, my camera does not rate up there. Not that important. Ginger Todd, when life throws you curveballs, you find out how much you've grown as a person. I love that. Yes, absolutely. Yes, that is perfect, Kenneth. Listen, I'm praying for other nations and my brothers and sisters in Christ. We're not feeling it in Texas, but I feel Texas is about to feel it. Well, I think, Kenneth, it depends on where you live in Texas. If you're in Houston, Dallas, or any of the big cities, they probably are. Because I will tell you right now, Houston and Dallas are not places that I would feel safe, like Seattle. It's all perspective and where we're at the moment. Like, if I've lived, and this is something, I haven't lived in Seattle my whole life, so the people who've lived here their whole lives, they see crime rising, and for them it's very terrifying because they're not used to it. They're not used to those kind of crime levels. Whereas if you're down south, I remember when I lived in Louisiana, it was kind of par for the course. It was very violent and there was a lot of crime. And so, I have a different perspective because I've lived in different modes of being. I've lived in, I'm from originally northwestern Montana. At the time, I think our town was like less than 1,000. So I lived in uber, super, super rural areas. I've lived in cities. I've lived um, overseas. So I think that it's, you take each of those things and realize that it's perspective. Um, I still feel safe in Seattle. I do pay attention a little more. I do know that there is a strip along here where violent crime has gotten um, what I would call out of hand. But we know that, and it's well reported on, and they're doing things to hopefully fix that. Let's see. When someone steals, it is painless. Yes, exactly. Definitely violating. Warrington, I'm like you. Photography is an outlet for me. I just wanted to help. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Bliss Canary. Got a lot of people running to Texas, moving in there, was born there. Mama Moats, good job seeing the upside, but leaving the homeless tools is a blessing. Yes, it is, though. It really is. You still sparkle even through the dust of thank you, Avery. I, that's we just try. Like that's the thing is we just got to give it our best effort, to and not understand. Like that wasn't a personal attack on me. That was somebody who needed something and was willing to violate other people's privacy because of it. I have to remember to not take those things kind of personally. So it's I appreciate the sparkle comment. Just I know it's insane. Okay. Um, yeah, the parking bliss, the parking garage. They said that that corporate is now going to put cameras in. It is. Why do the kind and nice people go through the most pain? They don't. Everybody goes through pain. Everybody. I'm glad I got out of it too. Many people don't, and I'm a very, very lucky girl. Good morning and greetings from Jakarta, Indonesia. Thank you. You have a wonderful evening as well. Let's see. Morbidly morbid. Hi, Amanda. It's Pete. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm doing all right. Definitely staying safe. Um, yep, absolutely. Um, good morning, Abraham. Ibrahim. James, I thought you were a blonde. I was at one point. I also had blue hair at one point, and I've also had green hair and pink hair and purple hair. And now my latest is this, and I love it. Let's see. Mama mode. That's so understandable to react. I hate people. Yeah, right. And then I had to catch myself in that. I hate the actions of some people. Yep. Makes me angry when someone breaks my heart. Yeah, right. Um, some people feel they have no other choice but to proceed with sexuality. Right, exactly, and they have I do not think their reason is viable, but they sure did. um, did your dog bark? I live in an apartment building. If anybody comes near my dog or my door, yeah, she's all about it. Do you like chocolate? Of course, I like chocolate. Yes. I like coffee. Actually, I've got hot chocolate in my coffee today. So, anyway, I guess that's the thing. I just wanted to share with everybody that, yeah, this thing happened to me and I was really upset, but I also want to celebrate the win, right? Like I just really wanted to share the win. Because even though I know for some people it's going to sound a little silly, I know that there are people out there with my kind of brain injuries, and they will understand deeply what I mean by this and how much work and effort it takes to get to like a lot of work. Ashi, let's see. Stopping by. I hope you say your upcoming days are easy and you're great overall. I'm not religious, but I'll be praying for you. Thank you. I'm sure the best karma is coming. Thank you, Ashi. Maybe they have insurance for break-ins. I am checking my renter's insurance to see because it's a parking garage and it was locked. So let's see. I had a stroke, so I understand you. Ginger, as long as you remain teachable, you'll grow and flourish. 51 here, and I still love to learn. Right? There is there's so much to learn, and like, but that's another thing too is I'm glad, like, if it had to happen, I'm glad it happened at the time it did because I had film projects that I had to have done, and I was able to get them done like the day before it got stolen or a couple days before. So, and they turned out wonderful. I did a good job, so I was able to get those done. It's a big deal, and I'm okay. I'm good. Um, let's see, ice cream is wonderful. Yep, Beverly. Um, Let me know if I'm too nosy. Were you taking your bipolar meds when homeless? Absolutely. Absolutely. That was one. I knew that I had brain injuries and bipolar before I was unhoused. And part of the problem was that before I was unhoused, I was unable to access the medication I needed regularly. And I was in an extremely stressful environment, which was kicking off, um, symptoms of the brain injury and leading to seizures. And there was just this whole thing, right? And so then when I left my ex husband's and I went to my brother who got me in with a neurologist and got me back on my meds and gave me like made sure that I was okay and set on that. And then when I got to Seattle, the first thing we did is like my son was like, okay, because he knew I was brain injured and stuff. He's like, we're going to the Brain Injury Alliance of Seattle, and like I had 4 people mob with us, like to the Brain Injury Alliance, and I walked in and I was like, hey, brain injured and unhoused here, and they're like, we have no idea what to do with you. So it was a learning experience on both fronts, but that is one thing that is actually why Gypsy is my emergency person, is because Gypsy was with me the entire time I was unhoused. And she can tell if I even take my meds in the morning. She can tell by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It is a thing she knows. I was very lucky to have this community that like we pulled for each other. We celebrated our wins. Um, when one of us was on meds and just was like, I'm not going to take them, the other ones were like, yes, you are. You got this. You got this. When I'm bawling underneath a bridge because I can't stand one more doctor's appointment, there was somebody to say, here, let me go with you if you want, or I'll go halfway. Let's go together. So I find that throughout my journey, I was so lucky and so blessed to just be, no matter what the circumstance was physically, like, and able to get things, I was surrounded by love. Maybe not like out in public, but I was surrounded by love where it mattered. And I think that has helped me heal a lot. And even like the people that were in our encampment, like all are living around here. Like my daughter-in-law lives 2 blocks. Athena lives 2 blocks. Gypsy lives down below. Like we formed this community and it mattered to us. And we are still very, very close. I still have my street kids check in on me, hit me up on Messenger, make sure I'm doing okay, celebrate their wins with me. Like I just found out that Sav is getting an apartment. Woo! There's some beautiful things. Um, so yeah, I probably went on a little bit too much about that. Let's see. Um, Web surfer guy, I like your positive attitude. It's good to work out the pain, but then you move out, and we're all here to help and support each other. Exactly, exactly. And thank you. I appreciate all of you that are just so supportive and loving and kind. You know, like I said, I've said a lot. In the morning, I grab my coffee, and one of the first things I like to do is look at the messages that are left or the comments that are left, because they're so uplifting and positive. And even just so everybody knows, if I heart it, I have read it. A lot of times I don't have the bandwidth to reply a whole lot. Um, it just takes a lot for me to like type out. I don't know why. I'm not, whatever, but know that I read it and I appreciate it very, very deeply. Let's see. Mattia, morning from Croatia. It's 5 here with when I saw you in my phone. Oh, thank you. I hope I'm positive. Everybody, I think that I struggle to be positive just like everybody, but that is my focus, is to try and remember remember the good, remember the good, remember that there's good. I think that can get me through a lot of situations. Um Mama mode, it was a speed bump today that gave you a flat tire, but you used your tools and get it. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Absolutely. Um, Glad the situation was not worse. Yeah, me too. I used to hope brain injury would go away. Now I'm like, oh, this is why I had them. Empathy brothers, right? That yes, I feel that on a very real level. But there are some good things too. Like what I say about hold on, I got it just a second. Is because in I was going to these brain injury support groups, right? I was in the support group and they're like, okay, everybody name one good thing about your brain injury. And I was just like, what? What? Rah! I am horrible now, and because this was before, in treatment and stuff. And I couldn't get past that. And and then I realized something because I got past it pretty after that because I can't worry. Like I don't have the attention span. Like so like I used to in like my 20s and stuff, like I would fixate on a problem and like what the problems could be and like worrying about problems that hadn't even happened yet and trying to figure out solution of that and like 50 million solutions to problems that hadn't even cropped up and I would just worry myself into panic. And now if I'm worried, I guarantee it's like 15 minutes and I'm on to the next thing. I can't. So, and I like my emotional state. Like I know that I'm emotionally all over the place, but I also like feeling deeply. Um, I know that it's a problem sometimes, and I know that, but I love it. I love the fact that that the feelings I feel are so deep and raw. And whether that be laughter or sadness or whatever, it just, it encompasses me. And yeah. Um, let's see. Nice sweetener. It is though. I like hot chocolate as a sweetener. You have a little bit of a hippie vibe. That's a good thing. Emmanuel, hi. I'm always glad to see you doing great and being a beacon of hope. Uh, for all of us, keep up. Cheers from Costa Rica. Cheers from Seattle. Yay, Sab, right? Um, do you wear earrings? Sometimes. I do enjoy earrings, but the problem is I'm allergic to a lot of metals. And so my ears will swell up really bad and it hurts. So for the most part, because of that, I don't, I used to wear rings all the time. But which I probably will get some, but I tend to stay away from earrings and stuff because of that. But I do like them. I have several pairs. I just can't wear them. I can wear them for a little while. Like if I'm doing a video or something, I'll put them on. Oh, thank you, Black Hole. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. So if I'm doing a video or something, I'll put them in, but then I'll take them out like afterwards because I'm like, ah. Um, do you know how to make pancakes? Yes, and there is a video on me making pancakes. Um, how do you stop that? The catastrophizing. It's a survival mechanism. I am not sure. Um, I'm not sure what that is, but if it's what I think it is, I'm not sure how to stop that. It just happened. There was something that within the end, well, I've had 5 of traumatic brain injuries, but during one of them, it just did something. I literally just don't have the attention span. Um, it's like I can't. Like I will, like even things I should worry about, like I'll worry, 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 and then I'm distracted, and then ooh, I got to worry about this. Worry, worry. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what caused that. Um, there are days when I've had a rough night, catch it or rerun, and leave a comment, and the heart just gives me good. Thank you. Know that I read it and appreciate it deeply, truly. And that craft idea is awesome. I let them think. So what I did is okay. So I usually get canvases, but I'm now getting canvas boards because I think it'll make shipping a lot easier, and then people can frame it the way they'd like. It's just not as expensive to frame a canvas board. But I got like a big pack, and so I got 2 of 'em out, and I took Elmer's, non-toxic school glue and, food coloring and put it in different colors into bowls and let them finger paint, and it turned out so awesome. I absolutely loved it, and they could just paint with it. They had a great time. Um, what about my auto insurance for that? That is usually covered. Is mine. Likely need to check. Yeah, I'm checking my insurances. Thank you. Black hole, you're such a sweet person. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I like 2 English breakfast. I like mint tea. If anything causes an allergic reaction, stay away from it. Don't force something on yourself. I agree. I agree. I agree. And I don't do that. That's not, I don't like being itchy. um, is there really a video of you making pancakes? Yes. My cooking videos are all making a mess in the kitchen with Manda, and then it'll be different ones. Um, Popcorn, it can be a good thing. I appreciate you sharing about your mental illness. Make me feel better about being bipolar myself. With mental illness came a lot of shame for me. Me too. It was I remember those days. It was really, really difficult. And even now, but what I try to do is I go the opposite direction with it, because I've noticed that, like, even one time I was when I was being interviewed, and the person, like, right after that goes, I don't interview severely mental, or I don't interview anybody who's mentally ill. And I'm just like, you just interviewed me, but because I didn't meet your description, or because it's not the kind that you mean, you're going to categorize that like, mm-mm. So then I realized that, you know if I stop having shame about it, then I can show people that that maybe it's okay. Like, maybe I can show people they're not alone, and that there's no reason to be ashamed. And that when people will say stuff like, well, if you could just focus on, no, it's, these things are real, and they cause real behaviors that interfere with everyday life activities. And for example, I told my bosses, right? Like, I had to tell my bosses, I'm bipolar. So when you hear me being very excitable and super emotional about something, that does not necessarily mean that that situation is that exciting or that emotional. That is not the severity of the situation. I react severely, but that does not necessarily mean that that is a severe situation. But by helping them to understand, then they can help me, and we can work together, and we can find ways that, you know, once they understand that, they're like, "Oh, okay." So if I call them and go, "There was this problem and it was, I don't know," and they're like, "Oh my gosh, what are we doing?" I'm like, "I've already fixed it. I just wanted you to know." Like, "Okay." Which has happened before. But I think those open, honest conversations, they help. They help because I remember growing up in the jokes about manic depression and the jokes about bipolar, and nobody ever talked about how devastating it was, and that for many people with untreated bipolar, you either end up in prison or dead or in a hospital. So it's imperative to be treated. Um, and I didn't know that. I just thought it was a shameful joke that meant that I was that crazy girl or crazy woman or crazy bee, and that wasn't it. I have something that was causing this. And so I can manage it. It's never going to be cured, but it's manageable. And I have to say, I'm one of the lucky ones that found a good medical regimen to be able to manage it. So, super lucky. Really enjoy holidays. Have a great night, Black Hole. I've heard many things of the jab that can cause an allergic reaction. I don't know. What kind of dog is that? She is a chocolate lab. You do show me that I'm not alone, and for that I am grateful. You are not alone. Neither am I. There is a lot of people out there. But I have gone on and on long enough, you guys. It is going on almost an hour now. I am going to go and grab myself some more coffee and just want to let you guys know thank you. Like, thank you. Thank you for being such an amazing subscriber group and amazing viewership. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. So I hope you all have a wonderful night. I'll talk to you later. Bye.